Hello, everyone. This is the fourth interview of the professional development series put on by the Young Professionals Advisory Council within the Air and Waste Management Association. I'm Josh LeGrand with Trinity, and today I have Ross Beardsley, who's a senior manager at Ramboll. To start us off, Ross, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and your role?
Sure. Yeah, as you said, Ross Beardsley, I lead climate risk capabilities here in the US for Ramboll. So we evaluate the impact of climate change, extreme weather, and changing regulatory regimes on our clients' assets, businesses, and portfolios. I lead that team and also direct our internal capability in that space, which is called HasAtlas, which is a internal software offering that provides all the underlying climate data and scenarios that are used to support those risk assessments.
Cool. And if you could just tell us your favorite part of the job. I know you mentioned got to do a lot of traveling for the job, so I imagine that might be part of it.
Yeah, I think generally consulting to me is very exciting because you get to work on a wide range of projects for a lot of clients, and we tend to follow market trends very closely or try to stay ahead of them ideally. And so you're always kind of working on the forefront of some of the areas that are most challenging. You know, as consultants, we're brought in to help clients in areas where they don't have internal capabilities. And so we're always trying to stay ahead and understand what is the leading best practice for these types of things. And I think climate risk in particular is very exciting because we as a society are all working together to try to understand how do we first understand the risks that we're facing, you know, from a built environment perspective, from a societal perspective, from in our clients' perspective, their company and their operations, and what can we do to address those risks? You know, that's not a there's no one solution there. There's no one answer, and that answer is evolving all the time as the climate's evolving. And so it's been very exciting to work as part of a team and lead a team that's trying to come up with the innovative solutions that can actually help address those problems in a meaningful way within the economic constraints, you know, the cost benefit analysis required. Climate is just one of many stressors that companies are facing these days. And so trying to figure out innovative solutions that work within the bounds or the constraints that our clients are facing to help them address these issues has been really, really exciting.
Okay, yeah, and I think that kind of touches on my next question too. What are some of the challenges that come up, and how do you overcome them?
Challenges generally in the job or challenges in my personal career? What would you prefer? I can answer either.
Well, I guess we can start with the role right now, and then if you have some just career aspects, that I think that'd be interesting
Yeah,
for people to hear as well.
sure. So I can answer both. I think the challenge in the job, there's a few, I think, with climate change in general. The first thing is anytime you're looking ahead into the future, there's inherently uncertainty in that. And, you know, we as people, and I think business generally, you know, are a little bit uneasy when it comes to uncertainty. And there's also been, you know, questions around what can we really predict. And so I think the challenge in climate change and climate risk assessment more broadly is understanding the uncertainty. What do we know? What do we not know? What can we confidently say? What can we not say? And then communicating that effectively to clients and to people and educating them on what we can actually do about what we know about the future and working with that uncertainty. And you know, that's been a challenge. You know, this is an evolving area for me as a person, for society as a whole. And so navigating that and understanding how do we effectively bring people to the table, understand what we can know, what we can't know, and actually address the things that are pressing has been somewhat of a challenge. I find it exciting, but it's certainly been a challenge. And then personally, you know, I've been in my job at Ramboll for 10 years. I started as a more technical consultant and then moved into a manager role. And one of the challenges I found early on was like figuring out how to effectively delegate and fill in the gaps in the capabilities I don't have or the weaknesses that I have. Like I think when I first joined, I thought I can do all of this work. I can take everything on. And eventually, what you're going to realize is that you don't have the capacity, and trying to do everything yourself really limits your growth. And it was a challenge for me at first. I found when I would get stressed out, I would look inward instead of looking outward. And one of the benefits of working at a company like Ramboll is you have insane capabilities across the globe. And it really unlocked my career when I realized that, you know, I need to find people that are smarter than me or better than me that can do things I can't do and give them the opportunities to solve problems and deliver solutions. And really, I, you know, my goal these days is to get out of people's way, give them the support and structure they need to deliver great work, and then get out of their way. And it took me a while to realize that. And it was a little uneasy at first saying, I want to do this. Like maybe, I'm the right person for this, but realizing, no, I'm not always the right person for these things. And my true strengths can come from identifying people that can deliver effective solutions and giving them what they need to deliver on those things.
Well, I think that kind of answers the next question. What skills have been the most useful? Probably just corralling different resources and, not trying to do everything yourself, especially as you move up in your career and you don't have time to do everything yourself. So kind of likewise at Trinity, now we have a lot more resources and you can kind of look all around the country for different, specialists on different topics, and kind of passing the ball off to other people is definitely something that's been a challenge, but also has really paid dividends in my career as well. So is there any other particular skills, I guess, that, you've kind of honed in on, maybe time management, organization, or anything like that?
Those are all certainly important and things I don't think I'll ever be great at. I think for me personally, it's been willingness to adapt and be flexible. I think it's really important for all of us to be flexible. There's always going to be challenges. There's always going to be shifts in priorities. There's always going to be shifts in the needs of society and the market. And so willingness to say yes to do things and be flexible within reason has been really important for me, and has actually created the role I'm in now. Like I was hired to Ramboll actually as an air quality modeler. I did a PhD at the University of Florida in developing atmospheric models and atmospheric chemistry approaches, and leverage that capability and that ability, understanding of the atmosphere into a climate risk role. And that led to everything that I'm doing today. Now 100% of my time is on climate risk. And that's all because I was interested in the opportunity. I said yes, and I went for it. And I think that's been huge, and just being flexible and adaptable and saying yes to things, even if it's a bit uncomfortable at first. One of my high school teachers always told me, like, things seem scary when you're looking at them from a distance, but you're ready once you get there. And I think realizing that, and realizing that you'll be ready for things as they come, and saying yes to opportunities, has been huge, and something that's really benefited me in my career.
Nice. Well, I feel like you're answering all the questions I have next for you in
Oh,
the previous
sorry about
question. This kind of also, what advice would you give to your younger self? I guess just kind of that, don't be scared, and kind of just have an open mind going into things. Sounds like.
Yeah, and I think I've always been, some people are super optimistic, some people are pessimistic. I always leaned a little pessimistic, and I think something that I would go back and tell myself that I've realized more recently is, like, it's easy to look at a challenge or look at an opportunity and find the issues with it, or the things we can't do, or the reasons why we can't do something. An important way in which I've grown over my career, and how I think about things, is instead trying to focus on what you can do. And I think it's subtle. It's easy to sit there and poke holes in things, but instead see the holes and try to focus on, within these bounds, what can we offer, and try to think positively instead of negatively. Maybe that's just a problem for me. I don't know. I'm certainly pessimistic in some ways, but, like, it's easy to identify what are the issues, what are the challenges, why can't we do something? But it's harder, I think, to think positively and say, within these constraints, what can we do? And use that as your initial framing. And that's been a big change for me. It's still something that's challenging for me, especially when you're stressed out and you're stretched thin, and someone's saying, can we do this? And you just want to say, no, we can't do it. We don't have the staff. We don't have the resources. We don't have the capabilities. But instead saying, okay, within the constraints I'm operating within, what can we deliver? What can we deliver? And having that positive framing has been very, very helpful for me, and a great realization that I had due to great, great mentors and leaders in my life, but has really helped me grow in my career, and make the career more enjoyable, frankly.
Yeah, cool. No, I think that's good advice. I've had a little bit of the opposite problem sometimes, where I tell people yes too much, and maybe
Yeah.
we actually don't have bandwidth, or we can't do this yet. But other side of the coin, I think that's definitely a good point. So
Yeah.
to kind of finish it off here, I guess, when and how did you first get involved in A&WMA, and have you gone to any conferences, and what are kind of some of your favorite parts about being involved in A&WMA?
Yeah, joining A&WMA was definitely one of the best things I did in grad school. I was at the University of Florida. At this guy, Matthew Tribby, was the president of the student chapter there, and encouraged me to attend a meeting. I had been lightly involved in it in undergrad, not as much. And he encouraged me to join. And I immediately, particularly in Florida, the state chapter is incredible. There's, like, great people there, great resources, particularly support for students. And so immediately I saw benefits from it. I went to the conference that year. I can't remember where it was. I've been to several A&WMA conferences, but we participated in the student challenge, which was incredible. It's not like an internship, but you're working through a real life problem. You have real engineers, real regulators questioning you and having you think through these things. I just found that to be incredible. And I saw the benefits to myself and to my fellow students. And so I became the next year, then I took over as president of the UF student chapter and led that chapter for 2 years, which was huge for me. It really helped my professional development in grad school. And that's how I became part of it. And I just really saw the benefits and the connections and the opportunities it created. And then I joined YPAC when I was at Ramboll until I got too old. And, but overall, it's been incredible. I think A&WMA is a great organization and how it brings together diverse people and creates opportunities for people of all ages. And I think the focus on students is really important, and it's something that greatly benefited me. So thank you to A&WMA for that.
Ooh, all right. Well, I hope that's inspiring to anyone that's listening to this interview today. And yeah, thanks for taking the time, Ross. Appreciate it. And stay tuned for our next interview, which will be in, I think, 2 months from now. So, all right. Thanks, Ross. Appreciate it. And we'll talk soon.